Hi everyone, welcome to DSTV class 17EC 663. Today we will continue our module 4 input output interfacing. Today's lecture is lecture number 5 and topic is parallel buses. We saw in the block diagram of the embedded processor there the CPU, the input device, the output device, the input output controllers and the accelerometers, all these are connected, all these are interconnecting with interacting with the CPU. And we saw there are two parallel buses, one is an instruction bus and data bus. In embedded system, embedded processor we saw two buses, um, means instruction bus and data bus. What is that, what is meant by bus? Okay, that we will be studying in this lecture. And what is meant by parallel bus? Okay, we will start our class. Okay, the digital circuits is nothing but a is constructed from a few logic gates for simple circuits, or combination of logic gates for a perform for a for constructing a combinational circuits, or a sequential circuits, or combination of these sequential circuits for constructing a resistor, um, or to construct a counter. Okay, and combination of these adder circuits, subtractor circuits, logical circuits, to construct a arithmetic logical unit. Means I mean the digital circuit contains many small logic gates, many different subsystems. Okay, these systems are interconnected. These systems are interconnected in such a way that they can be in a near the circuits may be in a nearby or maybe from far away. So these there should be establishment of the wire connection between them. Okay, for proper transfer of the data. The data in the digital circuits are in the sense of logic 0 level and logic 1 level. Okay, and the data transfers from source to destination. From source to destination there can be a single source and single destination, means there is a transfer of only one data at a time. Or there may be a single source and multiple destinations, means there is a transfer of single data to multiple destinations. Or there may be multiple buses, sorry, multiple source and multiple destinations. Okay, or multiple sources and single destination. Okay, um, what is meant by this source and destination we shall clarify from the from a picturization. Okay, let us have a let us try to pass a single data from a single source to single destination. Okay, a single data is passing through a source and the final output is getting from a destination. Here only one data is passing from one source to one destination, means only one type of data is getting passed. Okay, means transferred. Then there can be another scenario where a single source is trying to pass uh, value to multiple destination. A single source is trying to pass value to multiple destinations, where each destination is giving individual outputs. Okay, and you can see the single source is feeding as input to the um, three destinations, means there are three output lines from a single source. All these three output lines is carrying a same data. Okay, for example, okay, same data, same output, but it is going to be feeding as input to the three circuits. Okay, single value is feeding as a three inputs to the three destinations. In technical we can say a single source which is driving multiple circuits, a single source which is driving multiple circuits, that connection is called as a fan out. Okay, it's called as a fan out. The encircled one, you can see there are three lines, means a single output. Three lines means a single source is driving three destination, three circuits. This is called as a fan out. Okay, please remember this circuit, because this circuit and another picture we will be picturization we will be seeing, both the circuits are important for better understanding of this lecture. Okay, in embedded processor we saw that that there will be parallel connection, means the instruction, separate instruction bus and separate data bus. Okay, there will be multiple sources, there can be multiple sources and multiple destinations. For that we need to have proper signal connections. Okay, if we try to connect in the previous circuit, means single wire, means wire to wire connection, source to destination, then more number of wires will be adding into the circuit, and the look will be somewhat uh, complex way, and the circuit becomes the circuit combination when we try to the circuit area will increase. Okay, more number of wires will add some bulkier, will look like a bulkier. So we will be using a common channel, we will be using a channel where we can pass these buses in that channel, so we can have a better visualization of a wiring connections. So uh, that channel is called as a buses. Okay, buses. Please look at the picture. There are two data sources where each data source is giving their respective output. This respective output will be feeding to different destination registers. Okay, when we there are three destination registers and then two source, and there are two source circuits and three destination circuits. When we try to establish connection from each source to each one of the destination, then we require 6 wiring connections from two sources. So the 6 wiring connections will require 6 paths, mean 6 ways, means the area will there should be area for 6 wire connection. Instead of that, we'll use a channel called bus. Through that channel we'll pass these two outputs from data sources. Okay, we'll call a channel called bus, means the vertical line which appeared is nothing but a bus. Through this bus we will try to pass the um, we'll try to establish connection between these sources and destination. Okay, you can see the connection between these data sources and destination registers is looking like a simple 3 wire connections, but actually there will be connections from each of the data sources to destination circuits. Okay, uh, this bus is carrying actually uh, actually three each, means 6 wire connections from each of the sources to the each of the destinations. Okay, it looks like a simple wiring connection, like uh, yes, is it okay? If this is understood, then our rest of the lecture will be somewhat easier to understand. Okay, and to signify there are multiple connections, so to signify that there are multiple wires are passing from a single line, we will be having a notation called a slash line. We will be marking a slant line to denote that wire connection is a bus, means in that channel. Please observe, once again, please observe, a slant line will come. These slant lines indicates that in on the wire where the slant lines are placed, on that wire, on those wires there are multiple wire connection existing, there are multiple wires are passing. Okay, not a single wire, there is more than one wire is passing. These slant lines indicates that wire is called, is nothing but a bus. Okay, in technical way, a bus is nothing but a collection of data signals, a collection of data signals which is transferring through this channel. The collection of signals carrying the data is nothing but a bus, and in this bus the control remains in a separate control section, and that the sequences of operation of the data source and destinations are with respect to the circuit operation functionality. Okay, in more elaborate we can say for a complex circuits, the number of sources and number of destinations may increase. In such cases, the control sections must work in a synchronization, while transferring the data. Okay, so the control signals will be a part of the bus structure. Okay, and next, the bus structure which we saw in the um, previous diagram, okay, is a general idea. Okay, but it is not realizable directly as shown. It requires some, it has to satisfy the design requirements, means the design constraints. Okay, the area constraint, the power constraints, all these should be met. Okay, for that we need to use better parallel buses. We need to use better parallel buses which saves the area, which tries to reduce the which tries to consume less power. Okay, which so yeah, in general, in summary we can say the parallel buses to be the type of parallel buses should to be used such that those parallel buses will reduce the area, will reduce the power consumption and gives better data transfer. It means there should not be any delay in transferring data. That means it should give a better speed from. Okay, there should not be any delay. So we'll be um, using different type of parallel buses for establishing connections between the circuits. Okay, most of the circuits will in digital will drive either a logic low or logic band. Why I am telling this? Because in IC, in integrated circuits, means a chip, the circuits are placed closer, and there and neighboring circuits may affect the data signal passing in the other neighbor signal. Means there's a chance of data getting corrupted or wrong data getting passed. Okay, means a noise can occur, or or what we can say, um, um, if you use a wrong type of connections, means any ordinate type of parallel bus is used for data connections, so there may be a chance of there may be a chance of large currents flowing, and it may damage the circuit, it may damage the design also. Why large current flows? Because the type because depending upon the type of bus we use. If we use a ordinary type of parallel bus where it cannot withhold more current, where it cannot withhold the more withstand for more current, then that wire will pass, which tries to carry the more current, will be damaging the circuits. Okay, so that we need to be careful while using which type of parallel bus to be used in establishing connection between the circuit to circuit, components to components, IC to IC, and which type of bus needs to be used on a PCB. Okay. Okay, let us try to recap the circuit of a embedded processor where we had um, separate buses for instruction and data. We'll collect all the components which you saw in the embedded processor. A CPU. Please observe this carefully. This is a recap of the picture from the introduction part of the module 4. Okay, a CPU is there, instruction memory is there, input controller, output control, means input device, input output controller, and data memory is there, and accelerometer is there. And the connection between the CPU and means the interaction between the CPU in input out controller is established through a separate bus, and the connection and the interaction between the CPU and the accelerometer data memory is achieved through a separate bus. Okay, separate bus I'm saying, it is separate connection is there. Okay, and here the longer lines which we are seeing again is called as a buses. Through those buses multiple data signals are carrying. Okay, for your attention, please observe in this particularly with respect to this figure, don't try to compare with we can increase this length and all. Okay, the shorter line that is nothing but a data signals. The data signal is carrying out. Okay, and the longer length is nothing but longer wire is nothing but a bus, means it is carrying multiple wires through it. Okay, um, we saw that if we don't use a proper parallel bus, there may be a chance of more current to be flowing, and it may cause the damage to the device. The circuit may not work properly. Okay, for this purpose we'll be using different but suitable type of parallel buses according to the application requirement. Okay, there are different types of buses. One is multiplex bus, and tri-state bus, and open drain bus, and for there is a separate protocol for higher end design, bus protocols. The name itself conveys the information. Okay, I repeat, there are different four types of buses. Parallel buses we are going to study. Multiplexed bus, okay, multiplexed bus, tri-state bus, open train bus, and bus protocols. Okay, the name is so much easier to remember. The name itself conveys the significance of the bus. Okay, multiplexed bus is is, is nothing but we'll be using a multiplexer. Why? Because we saw that in parallel bus, in a bus we'll be transferring different uh, wire connection from different sources. When this bus is carrying wire connections from multiple sources, as in this figure there are two data sources and three data destinations. Okay, when these individual data sources are passing three connections from each of these, one data source is passing three wire connections, other data bus is passing three wire connections, means total six wire connections. All these six wire connections are passing through a single bus. Okay, then when these six wires are in a single channel, they are placed closely. Okay, if any of the if any of the wire in the among the six wires carries a different signal, means if all the wires from 1 to 5 carries a signal logic 1 and the wire number 6 carries logic 0, there may be a chance of the wire which is neighbor to wire 6, maybe in wire 5 there may be a chance of the logic value in the wire 5 may get corrupted, or the logic value in the 6 may get corrupted because of the closeness of these wires. Okay, in order to avoid those scenarios, getting wrong data to be transferred among the wires inside the bus through the bus, in order to avoid wrong data to be getting passed or data getting corruption. Okay, we are going to pass a proper signal by properly verifying, so that we will be using a multiplexer. A multiplexer is nothing but a data selector. It selects a proper data from it selects a proper data and gives a particular output. Okay, based on the control signal, there will be a control signal which based on that control signal a particular data will be selected. So we'll be using a multiplexer to select the correct logic levels, and the output of that multiplexer will be passing to the bus. Okay, then we can avoid wrong data transferring. Okay, we'll be using a multiplexer. Okay, see the bus is passing the wire the bus is passing the output connections. How this is done? This is done with the help of a multiplexer. Okay, instead of directly giving the outputs of the data sources to the bus, we'll be giving the output of the multiplexer, where the multiplexer is getting is selecting the data from these data sources. Okay, depending upon the control signal, the select line, the multiplexer will pass either the signal from data source 1 or data source 2. So from this we can avoid a wrong data transferring. Okay, the multiplexer selects the value to drive the bus signals based on a control signal. Okay, if the bus has n data sources, we require n multiplexers. Okay, if there are n data sources, we require n multiplexers. Okay, and depending upon the number of sources and the arrangement of the components and signals on the integrated chip, the multiplexer may be implemented as a, here please observe these points. The multiplexer can be used as a single multiplexer, single large multiplexer. Okay, for n number of sources, or the multiplexer can be used as a small multiplexers. Okay, I repeat, the multiplexer may be implemented as a single n input multiplexer, or it may be subdivided into sections distributed around the chip. Okay, we can use a single multiplexer, or we can use a subdivision of the multiplexers. depending upon the function requirement. Okay, for example, let us take a bus which has 5 data sources. A bus which has 5 data sources of in 5 data sources. Two are on one side of a chip. Okay, assume a rectangular side. On one side we'll be having a 2 data sources, and the remaining 3 on the other side, on the opposite side. Okay, how to use a suitable parallel bus for this arrangement. The arrangement is that there are five data sources, data 1 2 3 4 5 in a rectangular area. In that rectangular area, 2 data sources 1 and 2 are placed on one side, and at opposite side rest 3 data sources are placed. Okay, the solution is the bus wiring may be simplified using 2 input multiplexer adjacent to the data sources, and a 3 input multiplexer will be used to the other side 3 data sources. Okay, since there are 2 data sources on side, we can use 2 input multiplexer. On the other side we have 3 data sources, we can use 3 input multiplexer. Okay, this conveys the last point. Okay, here the multiplexer are subdivided. Okay, according to the number of data sources. 2 data sources will be using 2 multiplexers, 3 data sources will be 3 multiplexers. The outputs of the multiplexers will be connected to the input of 2 input multiplexer adjacent to the data destinations. We shall see the picture, one complete picturization of this. Okay, observe the 2 data sources are placed on one side, and the remaining connections are done accordingly. You can see that multiplexers are used to select the data line from the data sources. Okay, each multiplexer either connects its associate data source to chain, or it forwards data from a preceding source. Means when the multiplexer is select is 1, it proceeds data source 1, or if it is 0, it proceeds transfers data source 2. Okay, you can see the data destination is occurring. This data destination is getting the output, is getting input from the multiplexer output. Okay, an advantage in multiplex bus is we saw that number of wire connections. Figure 1 we saw there are 3 wires, we require 3 wires, and we saw the use of a bus, we saw the wiring connection, visualization was less. The same advantage is is more in using multiplex buses. The number of wire connection is reduced, the wiring complexity is reduced. It made easier to route, the set of signals from source to multiple destination, right? Routing is nothing but wiring connection, establishment of wiring connection from source to destination. Okay, um, and a particular type of multiplex bus is a wishbone bus. Wishbone bus is an example of a multiplexed bus. This bus we will be used in our previous lecture. We used one GUMNet core processor. In that GUMNet core processor, we can they are using wishbone bus for as a multiplexed parallel bus. Okay, um, the signals in this wishbone bus or timing comes up with the timing specification. Okay, in the GUMNet processor we saw different input ports and different output ports, and acknowledgement port and strobe port. In that, O stands for output and I stands for inputs. Okay, in the last lecture we saw O stands for and what is the significance of O and I. Okay, and also the where multiple O signals are to be considered, I signal and multiple I signals are to be addressed with respect to the numbering. Okay, next type of parallel bus is a tri-state bus. A tri-state bus is nothing but there will be a circuit with the three with the 3 states. Okay, you can see the figure, the tri-state driver symbol. In the tri-state driver symbol there is an input and output, there's a buffer. For that buffer there is one control signal named as enable. Okay, depending upon the enable, the data will be passed. Okay, the data will be passed. This is a low input low controlled low logic level control buffer. Okay, if the enable signal is 0, if the enable signal is 0, then only input will be passed. We shall see the explanation. A tri-state buffer is another um, solution um, uh, for a parallel bus. It is one of the second type of parallel bus. The tri-state drivers are used in multiple memory components, are used in connecting multiple memory components while designing memory circuits. Okay, while designing memory circuits, we can use this tri-state buffer as a parallel bus. Okay, whenever whenever the enable signal is 1, whenever the enable signal is 1, pardon me, I wrongly, this is a I, okay, this is a logic high controlled buffer. Okay, whenever enable is 1, whenever enable is 1, we will be getting the output is transferred from input to the input the data is transferred from input to output. I repeat, pardon me, this is a tri-state uh, buffer which is controlled by logic I state. Okay, when enable is 1, the input will be passed to the output. When enable is 0, when enable is 0, okay, will not, the device will not sits quiet, it will pass an I impedance state. It means it will give logic Z value. Okay, this is why the name tri-state. Okay, this is why tri-state. The tri-state means 3 states. We know the digital circuits got logic 0 state, logic 1 state, and unknown state and I impedance state. In this uh, in this type of tri-state, we'll be having logic 0 state, logic 1 state, and logic Z state. Means logic Z is nothing but a I impedance state. Okay, whenever enable signal is 1, the output will get the input. Whenever enable signal is 0, we will be getting a high impedance value. Okay, and for parallel connection, um, just we require multiple tri-state buffers. Okay, for means in order to pass multiple wire connections, okay, through a single bus, we need multiple tri-state buffers. Okay, here we consider few tri-state buffers. For tri-state we'll have n tri-state buffers. Okay, d0 to dn. Okay, in order to pass the data from input to output, the control signal should be common. So we will connect a common enable signal. We will connect a common enable signal, then only the data will be passing. Okay, okay, I believe this picture will conveys. We need to pass multiple data values. So these data values are passed through a control signal called enable. Okay, these signals are passing as a bus signal. Okay, so in order to pass a particular logic value, correct logic value, it should be passed through a control signal. Why we are studying these buses? Because when at the beginning of the class we saw there, if among the I took an example of 6 wires. If the 6 wires are in a channel, if any of the if all the wires which is carrying the data, if all the data are differ, then there will be chances of neighboring wire getting wrong data. Okay, neighboring wire may get wrong data, and the output will be wrong. In order to avoid this, we need to pass data through a control signal. In multiplexed bus, we saw we are selecting particular logic level using a multiplexer. Similarly, we need, in order to pass a particular logic level, we are using a enable signal in tri-state buffer. Based on that enable signal, we are passing a particular logic level. Okay, the advantage of tri-state buffer again is wiring connection is reduced. Wiring connection is reduced, and another advantage is for each of the encoded data, okay, only one signal wire is connected between all the data sources and destinations. Please observe the second point. Only one signal wire is connected between all of the data sources and data destinations. Okay, and there are different issues while using tri-state buffers, because these tri-state buffers cannot be used for all types of circuits. Means it cannot be, it is used for a particular type of circuits, which we shall see. There are different type of circuits: a simple circuit, a medium complex circuit, a complex circuits, or very complex circuits, or high-end application designs. Can this tri-state be used in all these circuit designs? We will see. Okay, right now we have got issues. We'll see what are those issues. Okay, the issues is nothing but whether that the tri-state bus is a best possible parallel, is the best parallel bus to be used in all types of circuits. That is the issue. Okay, we shall see different issues. Okay, the issue number one is, since bus wires connect all the sources and destinations. Okay, since the bus wires are connect so all the source and destination, single bus. Okay, okay, the if it is a very long. Okay, it is very long. The connection between source and destination is very long. If the wire is very long, then it takes more time to transfer data. It means they are slower, they are passing the data in a slower rate. Okay, in and since there will be capacitance there will be capacitance, each capacitance will take sufficient time to charge and discharge, then this also slower down the data signal transfer. Okay, um, okay, it means for high speed application circuits we cannot use the tri-state buffers. Okay, and the second issue is it will be difficult to design the control signal. It will be difficult to design the control signal, means enable signal for this tri-state buffer. Means sorry, there will be a control enable signal. It will be difficult to design a path for data sources, because these data sources will be transferring their output. Okay, and this output will be carrying through the tri-state buffer. Okay, that this designing part is will be difficult. Okay, please, how this difficult occurs, because we'll take an so two tri-state driver circuit, where we'll be having two enable signals, enable 1 and enable 2. If these two circuits enables a different timing, if two if these two circuits enables a different time, means different time duration, then when these two values are not matching, we'll be having some data loss. Okay, because we saw in a parallel tri-state buffer connection there. Okay, I will try to go back. Okay, see here, in this parallel connection of tri-state drivers, there is a common enable signal. When this type of, when there is same multiple type of parallel tri-state buses. Okay, this is one set of tri-state buffers, tri-state bus. Imagine there's a tri-state bus of more another one. Okay, two tri-state bus. Then then when then another enable signal come into picture. When these two enable signals differs at some time, okay, there will be data loss. Okay, what is the data loss? We shall see, because we know that in tri-state bus, when enable is 1, data will be, input will be transferring to output. When enable is 0, we'll be getting high impedance state. Okay, okay, please remember this circuit. Okay, we'll take two tri-state buses. Okay, those two tri-state buses will be having enable signals, enable 1 and enable 2. Okay, logic 1 will signifies which signifies data is getting transferred. Okay, logic 0 is nothing but high impedance state. You can see enable 1 is switching from at the beginning, and enable 2 is turned on, is high after some time. And you can see that there's a difference, some time difference between enable 1 and enable 2. Okay, you can see that enable 1 and enable 2 are 0 for in logic 0 state for some duration. Okay, in that duration we cannot get a proper output, means the circuits will remain in a high impedance states for that duration. Okay, you can see the output. Okay, the output from the bus, when enable 1 is high, we'll be getting data 1 signal, we'll be getting data source 1 signal. When enable 2 is high, we'll be getting data source data 2 from the source 2. Okay, so observe that in between data 1 and data 2 there is a dotted line. There's a dotted line. This dotted line occurred because the enable 1 and enable 2 are 0 at that particular duration. In that particular duration, the data will be in a logic high impedance state. We call this as data float. We call this as a data float. Okay, you can see that the time t off means after enable 1 the data is stays for some duration, means we are getting we are getting in a off state. Okay, and you can see that the data during these two is called as a data float. Okay, is nothing but a data is floating. We are not getting a proper value. It is in a high impedance state, the undetermining state. Okay, this is one of the issue. So the timing should be taken care of. The timing of enabling the this tri-state buffer to be taken care of. Okay, and then the tri-state disable and enable timing, when enable is 0, okay, that there is a t off will occur. Okay, and the tri-state buffer will disconnects from the will disconnects. Okay, and whenever is 1, the driver will pass a particular logic value. Okay, but when both are 0, there is a data float. Okay, amount of time is wasting. Okay, amount of time is wasting, and power consumption will also increase. Power consumption will also increase because the device is on but no data transfer is happening. Okay, and if we allow the data to be floated, means if we allow the data value to remain in floating state, then the switching problem will come. Switching problem means suddenly if the enable signal goes high, whether there will be a problem to identify correct logic value. Okay, switching problem will occur if the float is continued for longer duration. Okay, the bus signal might float to a voltage around the switching threshold of the bus destination inputs, means we will be getting a wrong output. Okay, small amounts of noise may occur. Okay, a noise may occur, or the data get changed. Okay, wrong data will occur, or as I said, the power will be consuming more. Unnecessarily the power will be consuming because the data is kept in high impedance state. Okay, for example you can consider a TVA. Okay, a TV is connected to TV is generally requires hold so supply, right? Where imagine a TV switch is on. Okay, TV switch is on and TV is on, but TV is not being used, means TV is not, switch is on, power is supplying to the TV, but no channel is getting, and the user is not viewing the TV. The TV is kept on, there's a blank screen. Okay, if the TV is not being watched, why in turned on state? I repeat, the TV is not being watched, just the switch is turned on, means the TV is consuming a power. The TV is consuming power, there is a wastage of current. Okay, this is the case. This is the analogy you can imagine for the about to explanation. If the data float occurs for a longer duration, there will be a power consumption more. Okay, and there's a chance of noise, there's a chance of wrong data getting getting at the output if the timing gets mismatched. Okay, we can avoid this data floating by using some type of logic circuit called the, okay, some type of logic circuit among the tri-state bus. That particular type of logic is called as a weak keeper. A weak keeper can be used in tri-state bus in order to avoid data floating. Okay, what is weak keeper? A weak keeper is nothing but a back-to-back connection of a inverter. The inverters, the two inverters are connected back to back. This means feedback. Okay, this feedback is positive. Two inverters are connected back to back such that it's giving a positive feedback. This is called weak keeper. Okay, it's also called weak driver. You can see the tri-state buffers are there in the upper part, passing data through a bus to the destinations. And these outputs you can observe the output lines are connected. To the back to back connected inverters, means weak drivers, and these outputs are functioning also with the control of this with the help sorry with the help of this weak driver. You can observe at the output state. Okay, you can see the buffer is there and three dots are there, circle dots are there, means the outputs are connected to the weak driver. This weak driver will helps in giving the positive feedback to the bus signal. Whenever there is a data flow, means data float occurs. Okay, this weak driver will help in stabilizing the uh, logic value, particular logic value. When the bus is forced to a low or high logic level by a bus driver, the positive feedback keeps it at that particular level even if the forcing driver is disabled. Disabled means if the data float occurs, this weak keeper weak driver will avoid the data flow by giving positive feedback. Okay, the transistors, okay, in the output circuit of the inverter driving the bus are small with relatively high on state resistance and so cannot source or sink much current. Okay, since the transistors are means the weak drivers will be means nothing but a combination of PMOS and NMOS transistor. NMOS transistors means a CMOS inverter. Okay, this require this using high resistance, high on resistance. So there is the since resistance is more, the current naturally the current will be less. Okay, the flow of current will is also controlled with the help of this weak driver. You can see um, one effect. You can see one effect when we try to use this enable signal as a control input for passing signals through a bus. You can please observe the figure. There is a buffer, there is a tri-state buffer D input and the D bus is the output, and observe the enable signal. The enable signal is passing through a chain of inverters. The enable signal is passing through a chain of inverters to the AND gate. The enable signal is nothing is getting from the AND gate output, where the AND gate is getting input from one enable signal and chain of inverters. Okay, means there is a mismatch of enable signals. Okay, you can observe carefully. The AND gate is getting one direct enable signal, and that enable signal is getting at the second output with after 4 inverter time unit. Okay, for an AND gate, 2 input AND gate, the enable signal is connected in such a way that one input of the AND gate is getting direct enable connection, and the other AND gate input is getting of enable input after 4 inverter time units. There is a mismatch of the enable signal occurring at the output. Because of this mismatch, there is a chance of signals getting overlap. Signals getting overlap. Okay, this mismatch of the occurrence of a particular control signal at the circuit is nothing but a skew. Okay, if that control signal is clock, then the mismatch of same clock signal occurring at the different sources in different time unit is nothing but clock skew. Okay, if the flip-flop that generates the enable signal receives its clock earlier than the flip-flop that generates the disable signal, then there will be increased chance of overlap. If the even if the on and off delays of the tri-state drivers are near their nominal values. Okay, okay, if there is a mismatch of control signals occurring which passing the signals, okay, through bus, then the data float may reoccur and the overlap may occur. Okay, this is a one of this is also a drawback. So we need to use a safest approach in order to solve this overlapping of signals. There are two approaches. One is conservative approach and moderate approach. We shall see what is conservative approach and moderate approach. Okay, uh, when this type of skew occurs, means the control signal is occurring, and the same control signal is occurring at two different time units, means there is no synchronization. There is no synchronization. The circuit is supposed to work, means we saw that all the data enable signals are common connection, means there is a common enable signals in a tri-state bus. When this enable signal is reaching at different time units in different circuits, then the skew will occur, means the signal will get overlapped. There is a chance of wrong data getting passed at the output. So in order to avoid this, we need to go some approaches. Okay, to include a margin of dead time between different data source and different data sources driving the bus. Okay, the conservative approach is to defer enabling the next driver until the clock cycle after that in which the previous driver is disabled. Okay, and a more aggressive approach is that is to delay the rising edge of the enable signals, means the rising edge um, sent should be sent slowly, means the rising edge should occur uh, with more taking more time. Okay, for example, you can see this in the figure 10. uh, Means in order to avoid the overlap, a chain of inverters are used. Okay, in order to avoid the overlap, a chain of inverters are used by reducing the sorry, by increasing the rising edge. This is a rising edge. Okay, delay in rising edge is nothing but a slant line. You can see the slant line in the below. In the earlier, you can see the rising edge is a ideal one, but you can see there is a slant rising edge, means the rising edge is getting delayed. um, so the delay increases, um, and a proper timing analysis should be done while using tri-state buses. Okay, and the next issue is the type of CAD tools we use while designing the circuits. The CAD tools, when we try to program, the wiring connection is done automatically done by the CAD tools. Okay, the CAD tools all there are different tools. Okay, for using, for example, if you go for programming through Verilog, Xilinx is there, Altera is there. um, okay, these will be having different sets of library cells, and the connections may, and they also use different approaches for their um, wiring connections. Okay, when they are using different approaches, if the application is for FPGA, or if the application is for ASIC, okay, then the type of buses they use will differ. Okay, so the different CAD tools may not support this type of parallel bus. One tool may support a tri-state bus connection in the circuit, other tool will not support this tri-state bus, then at that time the problem will occur. Okay, this is the issue. Okay, not all physical design tools provide the kinds of timing static load analysis okay, needed to design tri-state buses. Okay, for example, in FPGA, it doesn't support it doesn't use tri-state buses for um, internal connections, internal circuit connections. FPGA doesn't use tri-state buses. Okay, and the final issue is that um, about implementation fabrics. As I said in the previous issue only, all the implementation fabrics, means all the IC manufacturing process may not use tri-state buses. Okay, may not use tri-state buses. If you want to design a circuit that can be implemented in different fabrics with minimal change, it is best to avoid tri-state bus. If they are suggesting it, try to avoid tri-state bus. Okay. Next type of bus is open train bus. Okay, we'll summarize the tri-state buses. Tri-state buses allows to trade off significantly, reducing the wire. It reduces the wire, but there is a performance increase because long wire connections will be occurring and more delay will be there. Okay, and design complexity also increases. Okay, and CAD tools may not support um, tri-state buses. Okay, so the designers has to keep in mind about the trade-offs between the performance complexity. Okay, in the case of bus connection between chips on a printed circuit board, tri-state buses are usually preferred. The third point is saying tri-state buffer are preferred on the PCB. Okay, they are suggesting that tri-state buffer is preferable to use in PCB than for circuit connection. Okay, for that reason fabrics such as FPGAs provide tri-state drivers that can be used to drive output pins. I said in the text for in FPGA for internal circuit connection tri-state buffers are not used, but the tri-state buffer can be used in the same FPGA for external connections. Okay, on the PCB tri-state buffers are best to pass the signals between IC to IC or circuit components. And next is open drain bus. Open drain bus means the drain terminals of the transistor is made common. We know that in a transistor, MOSFET transistor, there are terminals: a gate terminal, drain terminal, and source terminal. Okay, this is a gate terminal of a MOSFET transistor and a drain terminal and source terminal. You can see all the drain terminals are held common. All the drain terminals are held common, and they are given source, supply source. Okay, and source are held ground. Okay, since the drains are common, it's called a open drain bus. Okay, and this drain can be this type of buses can be constructed using a MOSFET transistor or a bipolar transistors. Okay, each driver connects the drain terminal of a transistor to the bus signal. When any of the transistors is turned on, okay, it pulls the bus signal to a low logic level. When this is a NMOS transistor, when it is 1, what will the output? Obviously a low signal, right? Low signal. And when all the transistors are turned off, the transistor register pulls the bus signals to a logic high level. You all familiar with the NMOS logic operation. Okay, if you give 1, what will the NMOS operation? Try to check with your NMOS circuit. Okay, then since please observe this. We'll go to previous slide. Please observe this. The last line is saying when transistors are turned on, what happens? We'll be getting logic low. When transistors are I'll repeat again. When any of the transistor is pardon me, I repeat again, when any of the transistors is turned on, okay, the output signal will go low, bus signal will go low. When all of the transistors are turned on, turned off, I repeat, when all of the transistors are turned off, the bus will go to the high level. Okay, this shows that this is similar to that of logic AND gate. Is that in logic AND, if all the signals are high, output will be 1, else if any one of the input is low, the output will be low. Okay, this signifies an AND logic. Now we can say a wire AND bus. If multiple drivers try to drive a low logic level, the transistors simply share the current load. Okay, if there is a conflict with one or more drivers trying to drive a low level and others letting the bus be pulled up, the low level drivers win. Means if any one of the transistors is turned off, obviously the output will go low, right? That is the last line saying the low drivers will win. It means if any large transistor is low, output will be low. Okay, this type of bus is called wire AND bus. Okay, if the bus signal is will be 1 only when all the drivers output are 1. If any of the driver output 0, the bus signal goes to 0. And the open drain bus can be constructed using a bipolar transistor. You can see a bipolar transistor is there. What are the terminals of a bipolar transistors? A base, collector, and emitter. Okay, here the collector is held common. For all the bipolar transistors, the collector is connected common. Okay, the operation is same. Instead of MOSFET transistors, we are using bipolar transistor. This is called open collector driver bus. Okay, if MOSFET are used, open drain bus. If collectors are used, open collector bus. Okay, summary of the open drain bus. Okay, the pull-up transistor on each bus signal can be open drain or open collector. Okay, this is best suitable while designing integrated circuits. means for observe tri-state buses are best suited for using on PCB, whereas these open train buses are used for IC design. Okay, for example, the number of ICs connecting for connection of the ICs are on the establishing connection between the printed circuit boards. You can use this open train bus on the PCB also. Okay, implementing pull-up resistors within an integrated circuit takes up the drawbacks. I'm saying drawbacks, I have not mentioned, please. The drawback I'm mentioning, implementing pull-up resistors will require more area and it will consume more power. Okay, the resistors means if you are not using transistor, the resistor will occupy more area. We know that the size of the resistors is more than the size of the transistor, because the transistors can be scaled down. You know, the length of the transistors can be minimized, but the wire, the size remains same. So the resistor, the size remains same. So since we are using pull-up resistors directly, the more area will be consumed by the more area will be occupied by the resistor, and it consumes more power. This type of circuits more power. Okay, hence we usually use multiplexed bus or tri-state bus within an integrated chip. Okay, in the first line they said the open train bus can be used in integrated connection within integrated circuits, but it is best, they are saying to but there's a drawback because of the pull-up resistor. If we need the AND function, then we can, if we need the AND function means if we want for a particular application, only when all the inputs are high, then only give the output. For that type of applications, this open train buses are used. Okay, depending upon the application requirement, we can use open train bus. Okay, and the next one is bus protocols. Protocol is nothing but a predefined a protocol is nothing but a set of well defined, sorry, not for sorry for mentioning predefined, a set of well defined um, um, instructions for efficient data transfer through the bus. Okay, time, it may be timing instructions or any uh, data faster data transferring instructions. Okay, in most design projects and subsystems, we are will be handling by the different team members. Then um, the each one will be using thinking of using different type of buses. Okay, so means yeah, what I mean to say, when a particular design in a particular application is going to be designed, the team is going to be divided. The team may be from different companies. When these different companies are working, there's a chance of the different companies are using different tools. Okay, then the different tools support different buses. So in order to avoid this, I repeat, when in order to, while designing it one high-end application, that application will be assigned to a one company. Yeah, when this company is trying to develop an application, this company will be using different small companies. When these different small companies are trying to design a single application, they might be using different software tools. We saw that all the CAD tools will not support a particular bus. So in order to avoid this um, conflicts, there's a common protocol. A protocol is nothing but a standardization, a standardization to be followed while designing application by different companies. Okay, because different manufacturers, different tools will provide different type of buses in their tools. Okay, so an industry standard and an industry standard should be followed when when different companies are trying to design a common application. That standardization is nothing called a protocol. Okay, in order to facilitate the connection of separately designed components, a number of common bus protocols have been specified. Okay, bus protocol is nothing but a following a set of standard guidelines for using a proper parallel bus. Okay, the specification, these protocols will be following a particular guidelines and standardization. With this protocols will be designed based on a specification. The specification will be involving a list of the signals. A list of the signals will be used such that it supports the data transfer, and a description of the sequences. What are the type of some buses you are going, that those buses descriptions will be listed, and the timing values of these signals will also be specified. Okay, the bus protocols will be is nothing but a standardization will be needs to be followed while designing a single application by different companies. Okay, some intended for connecting separate chips on a circuit board or separate boards in a system, means the guidelines needs to be followed for designing. It may be designing for a IC or designing a individual subsystems. Okay, for example, a PCI bus and VXI bus. Okay, for example, some may use PCI bus or VXI bus. These two are the type of buses, bus protocols, separate bus protocols which will be used in their application requirement. PCI bus are used to connect add-on cards to personal computer systems. VXI bus are used to connect measurement instruments or to controlling computers. As I said, when different companies are trying to design, come up with a one application, they will be following different buses for in their circuits for data transfer. So there will be conflict when combining those components. Okay, different companies will be manufacturing, will be designing different subsystems. These subsystems will be used to will be combined to form a one particular application. When and different companies use different parallel buses, there will be conflict. So to avoid some standardization of buses is there, means protocol, those bus protocols will be used for a particular applications, because the application may be same but the type of approach is different. Okay, so there will be a standard bus protocols to be used for a particular application. As they say, PXI bus protocol is used in personal computer system design, and VXI bus used in measurement type application designing. Okay, and others are intended for connecting subsystems within an IC. The one is the above one, for designing IC. This um, for designing subsystems. Okay, they'll be having different type of buses, either be a multiplexer bus or switching circuits. Example, Amba bus, Core Connect bus, and Wishbone bus. All these buses are used for designing a subsystems. Okay, I repeat again, the bus protocols. There are different types of bus protocols for designing a IC, for designing a IC or a board. Will be using a separate bus protocol, PXI and VXI, for designing subsystems. This is not IC, this is subsystem, a part of a circuit, within an IC. Okay, so they can use different bus protocols: Amba bus protocol, Core Connect bus core component bus protocol, Wishbone bus protocol. Okay, the buses may vary in parallel signals. Okay, for transferring addresses and data, and also the speed of data transfer may also vary. Okay, some bus protocols will support for high speed data transfer, and some will support for pipelining mode of data transfer. Example, we'll take an example of a Gumnet core processor. In Gumnet core processor, which type of bus we are using? We are using Wishbone bus. Okay, this is an example of a Gumnet core processor where Wishbone bus protocol we are using. Okay, for a ADC controller, you can see Gumnet processor is driving ADC controller. You can see multiplexers are used. Okay, as a buses. In this, there are different ports: CYCO, STBO, WEO, ACKI, ADRO, DATO, DATI. All this we addressed in the previous class while explaining Gumnet Core. Okay, CYC and STB will work in a synchronized way. They are used for acknowledging the read and write operations, and W is for write enable, and ACKI is for acknowledgement of the signal, and ADRO is for 8-bit port input output address for addressing, ADR for address, okay, and DATO for data, okay, for data signal, and data output signal, DATI for data input signal. Okay, we'll be using two separate instructions for writing the read for two separate instructions for reading and writing. OUT is for writing the data, OUT used for write operation, and INP is used for read operation. Please observe this figure. Okay, there's a GUMNet processor where we are the signal and the data transfer can occur with delay or without delay. This is a series of waveform where the clock signal is there and different ports are port signals are also displaying. This in this you can see the output is obtaining after each clock signal. There are two clock signals. We are getting the output at the second clock signal. Okay, okay, and another figure is there. We are getting the output after a one clock, after a particular clock delay. Okay, the in the previous, in the figure A, after one clock cycle, okay, means from the next clock cycle we are getting the output, but in figure B, after one clock cycle delay we are getting the second output. You can see the delay is this one. Okay, one wait cycle. Okay, can please observe in figure A, after at the time of second clock cycle we are getting the output. In figure B, after the after second clock cycle means waiting for one clock cycle, means from third clock cycle we are getting the output. Okay, this is nothing but signifying the knowing about the wait cycle. Okay, um, next about read operations. So before that read operations, I skipped one slide. The transitions are synchronized by the system clock. Okay, CYCO and STBO and WE, all these are control signals. Okay, to indicate commencement of the write operations. All these CYCO, STBO, WO, if these are one, means the write operation is commenced. Okay, and ADRO and DATO are used for um, address for address and data transfer. Okay, and for read operations we'll be using a INP instruction. Similarly, in read operation also we can have output, we can obtain the output with a without a delay and with a delay. Okay, the same figure we are getting the input at the at the instance when a user gives the input, at that instance only we can receive, or after a certain wait period we can get the input. Okay, read operation is nothing but getting a user input. Okay, the system in the GUMNet is embedded, which decodes the port address and selects a particular input output controller. It enables the address output registers to store the data. Okay, when a user gives the input, the data should be stored somewhere. Okay, this is done by the read operation. Okay, if the port ACKI acknowledgement I signal is 1, then on the next rising clock edge the it completes the operation. Okay, and after a completing of read operation, CYCO, STBO, CYC output, STBO output, and write enable output should go back to 0, because if CYCO, STBO, and means CYC CYC strobe STBO and write enable, if these are 1, write operation will commence. So after read operation these should be go to 0. Okay, in order to perform successful read operation, CYCO, STBO, and WEO should be 0. Okay. On the other hand, the address controller is very slow and is not able to update the output register. And another terminology will come into picture in this GUMNet core example, handshaking. Handshaking is nothing but the synchronization of the strobe signal and acknowledgement signal. Okay, the synchronization means these two are um, operating at the same time. Okay, they are going to logic 1 at the same time and going to log 0 at the same time. This synchronization is between strobe and acknowledgement signals. Ports is nothing but handshaking. Okay, the ACKI is going to 0 on the clock rising edge, and ACKI is goes 0 till the till there's a need for updating the register. Initially, ACKI will goes to 1 after the completion of the operation. ACK means acknowledgement. In the last lecture I said acknowledgement is very much essential to signify the successfulness of the read operation and write operation. If acknowledgement is 0, it means the process is not up, the data transfer is still in process. If acknowledgement is 1, then it shows the successful of the operation, either read operation or write operation. Okay. The read operation, as I said, it uses INP instruction. I think I have covered all these explanations. All these explanations. For read operation, the ADRO signals and CYCO signals, STO signals, and leaving okay W at 0. Okay, I have covered this in the last slide only. At first sight, it might appear that CYCO and STBO duplicates each other. Means since they are giving same values at the same time, it looks like both are same. But these two are not similar. CYC and STB are different. These two will be having a different specifications. Okay, these two will be having a different time specification, different specifications, but the timing controller might be same, but they are with different specification. And this completes about the parallel buses. Okay, parallel buses are used for data transfer to make the data transfer to be successful. For reducing the wire connections, for reducing the power consumption, for reducing the area, we require um, different types of buses. We saw multiplexed bus, we saw tri-state bus, open train bus or open collector bus, and we saw when different teams are working together for one particular application, what type of bus needs to be followed, because they might be using different tools for designing. Okay, because one large application is a combination of different subsystems. When each different company is trying to designing a individual subsystem, they might use different softwares. There might be different buses. Okay, in order to have a in order to use a standardized bus, there is a protocols to be followed. A protocol is nothing but a set of guidelines, a set of standard guidelines to be followed while designing. Okay, for that there is a different bus protocols where needs to be used. Okay, a bus protocols needs to be used according to the application. Okay, whether the team may be working in a different companies, they should follow these um, guidelines. Okay, and already existing bus protocols: PXI bus protocol, VXI bus protocol, AMBA bus protocol, core component bus protocol, Wishbone bus protocol. These are the industry standard defined bus protocols. Okay, and thank you for this class. If any doubts or any questions needs to be asked, please leave your questions in the dedicated WhatsApp group. Thank you.